And we later on learned that Swami refused to have his dinner that day because he said, "My children are starving." He's always in me, around me, below me, above me, around me. He would read, look at the pictures, would read the letters that devotees have given him during darshan, and he would destroy them himself.
Sairam, dear listeners, welcome to Sai SOUL 100. Our guest today is Brother Sanjai Murali, who's joining us from Somerset, New Jersey. Sairam, Brother Sanjay, welcome to Sai SOUL 100.
Sairam, Sister Prabha, so lovely to be doing this evening, and thank you for the opportunity. And Sairam to all the viewers.
Sairam, thank you. Please share your story.
One doesn't know where to begin because it's been a shower of grace from Swami, many blessed moments. And I was lucky to be born in a Sai family thanks to my parents who had been introduced to Swami and had known Swami before I arrived on the scene. So I grew up knowing Swami as somebody in the altar, somebody that we all looked up to, and I never questioned his divinity at all. I just took my parents' word for it, and both my parents were very active in the organization, so I was exposed early on to service, to SSC, to devotion programs, and to attend the center and to participate in the events on a Sunday was kind of a given. You never questioned what you did on a Sunday. And if you didn't do this, it didn't feel like a Sunday. My first interaction with Swami was in 1983, if I remember right. I'm dating myself a bit, which is not too bad. But it was a Balbika's national conference, probably for the very first time in 83. All the children of Balbikas from all over India were gathering for a conference. So it was quite a big deal, and we were put up in the institute in the college building. So each of the floors were converted into like dormitory style accommodations, and but it so happened that this evening we were all served really burnt rotis. And some of us were older kids. I was in like group 3, group 4 at that time. And so we were okay. We managed with whatever was served. But our younger brothers and sisters were not so accommodating. And many of them just went to bed hungry, and some of them were crying. And suddenly, before 8:30 p.m., I think it was that the ashram people came running, literally running in with fresh food, got us all organized to have a second dose of dinner, which was, freshly cooked. And we were all served, and all the top office bearers of the organizations were there personally supervising the distribution of food. And we later on learned that Swami refused to have his dinner that day because he said, "My children are starving. And why are you coming here and serving me?" And so it kind of exposed me to the human side of Swami, that he had so much of love in himself that it bothered him. And so that was my very first experience of it's not just somebody in the picture, but somebody that's relatable, who cares for us deeply. And following that conference, I had a chance to serve Swami personally when he came to Chennai. I was given the duty of attending to his room, to his immediate needs. And it was 1 week. I got to stay right outside Swami's room, serve him until he went retired in the evening, and then again back in the morning with breakfast, etc., etc. So it was an exhilarating time in my life that I look back very fondly, and that brought me closer to Swami as an avatar, as somebody that you relate to at a human level. And I think that's how a sense of devotion, if you will, began to strike roots. Till then, it was very, very abstract. It became more concrete after that. And I had many wonderful interactions with Swami. During my summer vacations, I used to go to Patti and had beautiful chances with Swami. And in one of those beautiful interviews, he did tell me that he's always in me, around me, below me, above me, around me, and so on. And it just came in through one ear and left through the other ear because it was so abstract, and I couldn't fathom of course, I knew for a fact that he was omniscient and omnipresent given the blessed interactions I've had. But this was profound, and events later on in life bore witness to that statement, saying how true that is. And I just want to relate two instances. One was when I was about a week old in the US. I just arrived for grad school in LA and didn't know anybody, literally. Uh, didn't know a soul in LA when I arrived. And the very first Sunday that I was in the US, I looked up the Sai Center in LA and got the directions, figured out how to ride a bus to the center, which was about like 20 minutes away. It was in Michael Goldstein's father's home. If you might know, Michael Goldstein served as the World Council chairman for the Satisai International Organization for many, many years. And it was in his father's home in West Los Angeles. And so I was brand new to the country, didn't know the ways and culture and so on. And like I said, Sundays mean, you know, bhajans, service, SSE, etc. So I didn't want to break that. And being my first Sunday, I said I should go to the center and found out a way to get there, rode the public bus, got there, and everybody was very welcoming. And after the bhajans, they all get together, have dinner at a restaurant. So I was not expecting to go to a restaurant. I just had like $5 or $7 in my pocket to cover for my bus fare, etc. And so I said, "Would you like to come join us for dinner?" I said yes. And so this other gentleman who was attending the center said, "Hey, you can ride the car with me and I'll drop you off in the dorm." So I rode with him to the restaurant. I helped myself. It was like a self-serve cafe, like a buffet. So I helped myself, and then you had to check out and then have your food, pay for your tray. And then it's like all you can eat for like $11 or something. forget the amount, and I just had like $6 or $7 in my pocket. It was very embarrassing. No credit cards. Like I said, I was just a week old. So I said, maybe I should just excuse myself, leave the tray here, and say I have to get back to the dorm, give some excuse and, you know, just vanish. And this gentleman who took me to that place, before I could say I'm leaving, he just put his hand saying, "Look, I'm taking care of both the trays." I didn't even have to ask or say a word. And when I got back to the dorm, I just broke down. This is Swami's love and his prasad, right? You came to my center, and I'm always with you, and you you would never should be embarrassed to leave when invited to partake in the extended satsang, if you will, right? So that brought home to me the truth of Swami's statement that he's always with you. And the second incident I like to share is right after grad school, I had a big graduation ceremony and friends, everything. I was also working at that time. So I decided to reward myself. Grad school is very grueling, endless cups of coffee, and uh, you know the drill. And I had a very tough thesis advisor, and it took a long time to get the work done, very demanding. And so uh, it was a lot of grind, right? So I said, look, I'm going to celebrate. So me and my friend, we decided to take a weekend, go to the Bahamas, have a holiday. And before leaving, I called up the embassy, said, look, this is my status. I didn't have my work visa stamped on my passport, um, and my student visa had expired, but I had a work authorization, right? So he said, no, don't worry, just come on over, and you'll be admitted in, and so on. And I called up the US Embassy and said, look, I'm going to come here for vacation, apply for my visa. Is that okay? They said, yeah, come on. Not an issue. So I land up with my friend in the Bahamas. My friend is a British citizen. So he went through, and I had an Indian passport at that time with an expired student visa. So they said, no, you can't enter. You should go back. Right. So interestingly, in the Bahamas, you also have US immigration. Right. So I go there. They said, no, we can't get you back into the US. So I was caught between two governments. And so I told the Bahamian guys, would they give me a call to the US Embassy, because I had called them before I left. So they said, yeah, we'll allow you a call. Please go ahead, use the phone. So I used the phone, called them. They said, look, don't ever come here. We may not even process you, and so on. So I somehow convinced the Bahamian immigration guys to let me in. I had enough funds with me, showed them my credit cards, etc. And my work authorization said, look, I have no reason to be here for more than a couple of days. So they let me in. They gave me a 1 week stay. And when I went to the embassy, the US embassy, they said they're not going to process my papers. So I was literally stuck in the island. So my friend with the British passport went back because I had a rental car waiting in the Fort Lauderdale airport, waiting to be returned. Because I didn't imagine when you are in 23 or 24, you think everything's just gonna work. There's nothing that can stop you. Right? So he went back, returned my rental car, and I didn't know a soul in the Bahamas, right? I came for a weekend vacation. So I was in the hotel thinking what to do. The embassies were closed till Monday, so there's nothing I could do. So I arrived there on a Thursday or a Friday. I forget which day it was. So Sunday morning, or Saturday morning, it was, I took up the phone book, looked up all the Indian names. There is such a thing called phone book in those days. And in Nassau, Bahamas, the phone book isn't very thick. The yellow pages were thick, but the white pages were not. So I looked up the Indian names, started making calls. So the first gentleman I called said, "Look, good luck to you. There's nothing I can do. You're on your own, buddy." So the second guy that I called happened to be a Sai devotee. What's the chance of that? So I said, "This is my situation." He said, "Nothing to worry. I'll just come see you at the hotel. Which hotel are you staying? Blah, blah, blah." So he met me the same evening, took me to his home, took me to the center in the Bahamas on the Thursday. Um, so, long story short, I had a beautiful stay, thanks to this gentleman who was a Swami devotee. And I figured out a way back through Jamaica. And when came back to Miami, all my friends were waiting to welcome me with the Welcome Back Mon banner. That's how they address men in Jamaica. Yeah.
How did you know that second person you called was a Sai devotee? How did the
I don't know.
conversation come about?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I think when I called him, we chatted, and then he said he's going to come and meet me. Right. So when we were having dinner at the hotel, I was just telling my story and what I do and everything, my background, and that's when I told about Swami, and he said, "Look, I'm a Swami devotee myself, and that there's a center in Nassau, and they meet on Thursdays for bhajans and so on."
So you mentioned that were at Swami for 1 week. You said spend time with Swami, taking care of his needs. And can you give a little bit more of insight into that so we can kind of see what that was like?
Yeah, so my day used to start around like 4:30, and you know, uh, getting myself ready, and then getting the breakfast arrangements ready. So there'll be many things that are coming from devotees' homes, cooked for Swami and his guests. So it was a task of myself, my fellow Sevadal volunteers to arrange the food. And you know Swami in those days used to leave for darshan after Nagar Sankirtan at about 5:30, and he would get out through the other door from his bedroom and walk to the lotus in Sundaram, where he will give darshan and then come back. And you never know which way he would come back in. So he might get into his bedroom and not come out till breakfast, or he'll come through the other door and hang out with us. And he was always joyful, spend the day with love, end the day with love, and that's him in action. And he would personally supervise the serving to all his guests before he even partakes a morsel himself. And oftentimes he would leave his table and come and hang out with his guests who are eating and say, "Serve him more of this." Or if he has a health condition, he'll say, "Serve him less of this." And his attention to detail was just amazing, and uh, amazingly gracious host, making sure that everybody is comfortable and well taken care of. And he would ask the organizers, what is his program for the day? And sometimes he would be just reading newspapers. There would be a stack of local newspapers bought for him, both English and Tamil. And he would even read the Tamil newspapers. And we have no record of him attending Tamil school, but he would read. He would read, look at the pictures, would read the letters that devotees have given him during darshan, and he would destroy them himself. We didn't have to take care of it. So he would destroy them, and he had his own students coming with him. In those days, Brother Radhakrishnan used to accompany him. So he used to take care of disposing the letters, um, that he tears off. Nobody reads the letters that devotees write him except him. So when he tears off, that's disposed. So I had the blessed chance of organizing his closet, pick out the robe that he would wear that morning, and when he changes the robe and his dhoti, I would bundle them in to be uh, to be washed and kept ready for the next day. Um, and also clean, set his bed, set the bathroom clean. I was barely 16 at that time, and I was I was prepped a lot to keep any juvenile tendencies under wrap. And I was very lucky to have senior brothers who were role models for me. And so being the youngest, they would let me have all the chances. They would step back and allow me to be in the front. And that's a brotherly love that I experienced in in Swami's presence.
Sairam, Brother Sanjay, this actually is so wonderful. I know starting with the uh, visiting and seeing Swami for the first time and getting burnt roti, and then learning that Swami actually didn't eat that night. So that his omniscience, omnipresent, his awareness of my children haven't eaten. And then all of a sudden you were given a second meal, and for you to learn that Swami's presence was there. Or was aware of your well-being, even from a distance, and such to learn that to learn that at such a young age is just quite amazing. And I cannot believe actually at a 16 years old, tender age of 16 years old, you're serving Swami. And yes, I can imagine you'll have to put the teenage tendencies out and start really being a Sevadal for Swami, and older brothers giving you the chance. It really is quite a blessing. And also to be able to serve Swami. Although you had that close encounter with Swami when you moved to the US, you found that Swami's words of "I'm always around you, within you, above you, behind you" to be true, to really experience it through his other devotees around the world. For you to 1 week old to go to a center and somebody to embrace you, take you to that extended satsang, and then to recognize that you need, as a student, you need that support. And again, Swami showing himself in that way for you. And then, of course, in Bahamas, yes, 23-year-old thinking that everything will go well, and then you go there to find out that you get stuck there. But your friend came back, which actually released you to do what you had to do for that Sunday, right? To attend the Sai Center and to experience Swami's presence in Bahamas as well. Otherwise, you would have just vacationed and then come back. Swami
Right.
was not going to let you off lightly. So even that had its own blessings, and it's quite amazing that Sai devotees' heart is open and ready to serve, whether they are serving somebody who is a Sai devotee or not. And so this gentleman had come and been there with you, so helped you through this, to get through this, and for you to think about it and to share the story today. Is he must have made such an impactful presence with his behavior as a Sai devotee. So that is it's Swami showing his presence everywhere you go.
Yes, yeah, he cannot go anywhere where he is not. Yeah.
Sairam, Brother Sanjay, thank you for joining Sai Soul 100 to share your story.
Thank you, Sister Prabha. Such a lovely interaction with you, as always. And what a blessing it is. Thank you.
Sairam.
I know.
Sairam, dear listeners, thank you for listening to Sai Soul 100 with Brother Sanjay Murali. I'm Prabha Swaminathan. Until next time, Jai Sairam.